Diversification of what you're doing is the key to growing your business and being successful and adding that, all important revenue to the bottom line. Yeah, so Sidewalk Safety was originally sidewalk grinding. That was the sole focus of the company. So my father-in-law, Gary, started the company, I think it's 28 years ago. So I've been on board 8 years. I changed the name 8 years ago just to kind of I wanted to offer a couple of more things. And he was just so tied to the name Sidewalk Grinding because he'd had it for 20 years. And I was like, hey, well, we should start doing maybe some crack repair and maybe some concrete. And so, I was like, hey, what do you think about changing the name to Sidewalk Safety? And, that was a bite. I didn't know at the time back then, like this division was, we're just going to do sidewalk. It was just be a sidewalk company until I met you. And then I started diversifying into the pavement side of things. But yeah, he had a very successful business as a sole proprietor for 20 years. And literally a man and a machine. He just had a pickup truck and one machine. Well, he had a couple of machines, but he'd throw him in the back of his pickup truck and he had a little ramp. He'd push him up by himself up into the back of the pickup truck and roll around doing cold calls and finding clients, slowly growing his business. By the time I came around, he had about 400, 500 clients that were, semi-regular. It just, every year he'd do grinding on certain properties, and other properties it'd be every 2 or 3 years, but he had his Rolodex, if you will, and client list, and he'd go out there and pound the pavement making cold calls, and did that for many years. And once he built up that clientele, it wasn't as much cold calling. But I came in 8 years ago, like I said, and I said, hey, let's modernize your company. You'll see if you take the course. At that time, he was fax blasting everybody. That was his method of marketing. So he was using old school techniques and making 6 figures, bought a house, was doing very well for himself, but didn't really have that path for retirement. And he said, hey, you're 67, you're out grinding concrete. Let's talk about hiring some folks on and training them how to do what you do, train me how to do what you do, and I'll carry the torch forward. So here we are, 8 years later, I've 22x this company as last year's revenue. And that was
22x'd the company, everyone. Just listen to that. 22x'd it.
And that was through diversifying our product offering, right? So we've grown the grinding business. We've doubled, tripled the grinding work. So we do between $250,000, 300,000 in grinding a year. So, it's about double or triple what he was doing. But we just started adding more and more services. We had that captured audience with that client base. And, we're on the property. We have the relationship. Hey, let's add this service. Let's add that service. First thing we added was crack filling asphalt and seal coating. And then we grabbed the line striper and started doing that. And now we're doing paving. So we just kind of keep adding products. Last year we did paving stones. So we just do all the excavation work for pavers. We were doing pool decks, all kinds of different stuff. But once you have that captured audience, that client list, it's way easier to ask them for another service than it is to just go out and find new clients and turn and burn those clients. Today I was installing bollards. I was telling Judd earlier, we put in 2 bollards for $5,000. I think we made like $2.5 or $3,000 today with 2 guys out there for a few hours. So, diversification of what you're doing is the key to growing your business and being successful and adding that, all important revenue to the bottom line.